Alright, for your special rights, so for your right triangles first, a couple things you need to make sure you recognize are heartbeat and boomerang. You're going to have 2 questions over this section. Memorize how to do heartbeat. For example, on here, to do heartbeat, we start heartbeat, we're trying to find, or there should be something inside the right triangle. We should see 2 boxes to know we have right similar triangles. And to follow the heartbeat, I go down the leg, up the altitude, back down the altitude, and out. So I know they just simplified. They did x over h equals h over y. And then when you cross multiply, that's why we get xy is equal to h squared. So if I was doing this one, this would be x over 6, then back down 6 over 9. And then when I cross multiply, we get 9x equals 36, which is how come x equals 4. Now boomerang, this is when we start with the whole side. Okay, start with the whole side, so that is x plus y, go to the leg, come back the leg, stop at the part. Okay, so here, the whole side is given to us, which is 13, to the leg, which is over a, back down a, stop at that side, which is 4. And then we cross multiply. So this is why we got a squared is equal to 52, and oops, I wrote 54. And then 52 is not a perfect square, but then we have to take the square root and simplify it. I will take decimal answers. You can use that on your test. So 7 is your test light. If I want to start with x, x is using heartbeat. I should have did that in red. Let me do that over. Keep it color coordinated. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to do my heartbeat and I'm going to follow my heartbeat. What my heartbeat says, I'm going to go from x to my altitude, which is 4, then 4 over, and I believe this is 2. So we cross multiply. This is 2x equals 8. Oh no, 16. Sorry, jumping the gun. Have another problem. And then divide by 2. X equals 8. So now to do my y, to find the y is dealing with boomerang. Now that, because I know that's 8, I'm just going to go plug that in for this side right there. So boomerang says I do the whole. So that would be 8 plus 2, which is 10, to the y, back down y, to 8. And then I can cross multiply. We get y times y is equal to 8 times 10, which is y squared is equal to 80. And then we need to take the square root. So y is approximately, don't forget, you're going to take controls x squared, and then we're going to round to the nearest 10, which is just going to make this 8.9. 8.9. Alright, so to find our z, if I was going to find the z, I'm doing boomerang going this direction. So z would be 10 to z, as z is, to 2. So z squared equals 20. Again, take the square root. Okay, so at least try to finish these problems. I think you can handle it. We're going to expect you to do 8, 9, and 10 on this, or 8, 9 is for sure. And then we're going to get into SOHCAHTOA. So it's on the formula chart. I've highlighted the key information. You're going to have one test problem from this section. Now, the key thing to this is they want the answer, the ratio, okay? This is important. They want the trig ratio as a fraction and as a decimal. So if I do sine of k, sine of k means, sine means opposite over hypotenuse. So I go to k, I circle my angle, I look opposite. Opposite is my 15. Find my hypotenuse. That is my 17. So the answer is 15 over 17. This is the fraction answer, which is what they're going to ask on the test. Okay? Now, if they ask for the decimal, they're talking about this decimal here. Okay? If they want the decimal, then that's when you put the fraction, change the fraction, to decimal. Alright, so that means I'm just going straight to the calculator. I know it's 15 divided by 17. Control, enter. And that decimal is 0.88. So our answer for our decimal answer would be 0.88. This is the decimal. We're not typing in the trig yet. Okay, so you're definitely going to see one like that. You can go ahead and omit 5 through 8. You don't need that. And then we're going to ask you to use your formula chart, SOHCAHTOA some more, to find angle measurements. This is when we do the inverse. So what's important here, just kind of address this, is doing our inverse. Make sure you understand the inverse. So, for example here, because we know the sine means opposite over hypotenuse. And since we're doing sine of, we're trying to figure out which opposite over hypotenuse. Well, we know the hypotenuse is 6. So that would go on the bottom, because that's our hypotenuse. But we want it to reduce. What would our number have to be so that it reduced to 1/2? Well, 3 over 6 reduces to 1/2. So that equals there. So that means 3. So now I'm going opposite of that. So our answer would be angle 2. Okay, because opposite, this would be opposite of each other. Now, this is just checking to make sure you understand your trig ratios, because you got to know how to do them to set up your problems when we deal with word problems. And this one, use your calculator. You're going to have one that's just straight using your calculator. So you would just physically go to trig. Okay, see if it's going to let me do it. There we go, trig. And we're going to do sine inverse. Let me escape. And we're going to put in 0.8, the actual number. And we have to round to the nearest whole number for angles. So our answer, when we put that in there, we got 53.1, but we round that to 53. So you have one where you're just going to type it in. So we can't miss those. It's just straight to typing. Then we're going to go into, I'm going to give you a triangle. You're going to find a missing side. So you got to ask, what do I have? What do I have? What do I need? Okay, compare it to what do you have? What do you need? If you have two sides and you need a missing angle, this is when we're going to use our trig inverse. So our tests like on this page, I believe, are 9 and 12. So let's kind of walk through this together. Start off with whatever they give you, the angle. I always start with the angle, so we're going to circle that. I'm trying to find the missing side. So let's say I'm trying to find our hypotenuse. So this would be opposite hypotenuse. So this is when I would do sine of 53 equals opposite, which is 10, over hypotenuse. Remember, if x is on the bottom, so just some side notes, and if the variable is on the bottom, you divide. So I'm going to take this and switch it with the x. So now I'm going to say 10 divided by the sine of 53. and then I have to physically type that into the calculator. So I have to go 10 divided by trig sine 53, round to the nearest tenth. That would give us 12.5. Now let's say I was looking for the other side. I wanted to use trig. So let's say I was looking for, I'm going to name the AC the y. This would be opposite and this would be adjacent. Okay. Again, you would have to set up your trig. So this would be tangent, because 53 equals opposite over adjacent, which is tangent 53 equals 10 over y. And again, y is on the bottom. So we take this, move it there, take that, move it out. Okay. All right. Now, the other thing I wanted to do is find missing angles. So assume like we're trying to find x and y here. So we're going to do the same thing we normally do. Circle the angle. Label the parts. This would be opposite. This would be adjacent. So basically the tangent of x is 4 over, I believe it is, what is this? 8.2? I can't, yeah, 8.2 I think. Alright, so because we're trying to find an angle, x is equal to tan inverse. 4 divided by 8.2. So whenever you're finding variables on the inside, you take the inverse, okay? If variables on the inside, you take the inverse. If variables on the bottom, red. You divide. If variables on the top, you multiply. Okay. So the other test like is number 12. And because they've given you two sides, you have two sides, and you need to use inverse. So if I want to find this missing angle y, again, I'll label them in relationship to our angle. This would be adjacent. This would be hypotenuse. So this would be cosine inverse of 31 over, I believe it's 36. Yeah. So when we go to our calculator, we get, we do our inverse, trig, cosine inverse of 31 divided by 36. And it's going to be about 31 degrees. So angle y is approximately 31 degrees. Alright, and then you need to omit 13 and 14. You don't need to do those, no graphing. But you do need to know your definitions of angle of elevation and depression. If it's elevation, this is when we go up. If it's depression, this is when we go down. Everything's in relationship to the horizontal line. I highlighted that, not the line of sight. So what you're going to be expected to do on your test is to look at a picture. It's going to already be labeled for you and tell me if it's elevation or depression. So like number 1, this is above horizontal line. So if you look, it's going up, so this would be elevation. 2 is below, so hopefully you see that's depression. The way it's going to be tested are 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to see a picture just like this, and you're going to have to read it off the picture. So if I'm looking at angle 1 goes with the following horizontal line. This horizontal line here makes angle 1, and that line of sight, it's above that horizontal line, so this would be elevation. For angle 2, if I'm using my horizontal line, oops, that's way too much, sorry. That horizontal line, I look, it's below, so this would be depression. So try 3 and 4. Go based on the horizontal line. On 4, 3, you can use that same horizontal line again. 4, using this horizontal line. And let's see if we can name those. So this basically know your vocabulary. Can you do it off of the picture? And then you have one problem actually doing an elevation depression problem with a word problem. On the test, you'll have the words and it'll be labeled for you. You'll have a picture. You're going to use your trig. It says right here that it has an angle of elevation of 52. It's already labeled in there. Cast a shadow. Tree cast a shadow. That's 9 meters. It says what is the height? What is the height of the tree? So that's my x over here. This is what I'm trying to find. So this would be adjacent. This would be opposite. This is what trig function. Tangent. So we do tangent of 52 equals opposite over adjacent. X is on top. Okay, on top. Whenever it's on top, we multiply. So basically, x is equal to 9 times the tangent of 52. So this is a good section to make sure you can practice and do. When you get to 11, there's no picture, so you need to draw one. Always use right triangles when drawing your picture. So just start with the right triangle, then label it based on what it says in the problem. Since Jared is standing 12 feet from a rock climbing wall, when he looks up to see his friends ascending on the wall, the angle of elevation is 56. So he's looking up, so this is 56. He's 12 feet away, so that's at the bottom. How high up the wall is it? So there he goes. So then try to do that one. And try to do 12. And then we see if, and then we're getting into area, which is what we just got to do. So I'm going to stop here, and then I'll do another video for, not necessarily area, we're probably going to go out of order. We just covered that.